Hello, it's 8:25 a.m. and Mr. J has gone off to work, and today I'm going to start Operation Sausage. Big bowl of pork you can see behind me, and this morning I'm going to make my first attempt at making sausages, which obviously is likely to be disastrous, but but I'm going to give it a go. Now, earlier in the year, Mr. J very kindly, at my request, bought me a mincer and sausage maker, but it's a hand-turned one. I didn't want to start my sausage making with an expensive electric machine, so we have I have a new mincer, and it does have a sausage attachment, but I'm not actually using a recipe. I'm winging it. But I kind of have an idea of what needs to go into a sausage, and I bought some sausage skins. So the casings for the sausages they've been soaking in water overnight, and this morning I've put them into warm water to make them even more pliable. As I understand, that's what you're supposed to do. And the next thing I'm going to do is go through my joints of meat there and cut those into pieces that are a suitable size for going through the mincer. Well, I've paused for a few minutes because, well, I've encountered my first problem, which is that my wrists, I don't have enough strength in my wrists to do up the nut underneath the mincer, to clamp it sufficiently onto the work surface, which means that the whole thing is moving and rocking around as I'm turning it, which is making mincing it really difficult. So I have decided to use my electric mixer thing, which has got two sharp flat blades, and we'll dice it and reduce the meat down to a mush, a mince, and then once it's all broken up, then I'll put it through the mincer again to get that lovely mixed and minced texture to the meat. But did a couple of bowl loads of the meat in my electric mincer, and it really isn't liking the skin of the belly pork. It's jamming the machine, and it's making the motor sound like it might give up. So I'm going to go back through and cut off as best I can the skin off the belly. It's not going to go to waste because I will use it with all the other offcuts and the bones to make a really nice stock. So it's all about learning, and that's why I'm doing it. But I thought, I'll show you my mistakes as I go along, because we're not a high-tech family, and the electric mixer is about as high-tech as I get. Well, I've got about half of the meat prepared, and I'm going to do it in two halves, so that if I've made an utter mistake with the first lot, at least there's a chance that I might get it right with the second batch. So I put the meat through my electric whizzer thing, which has mashed it all up, and the next thing I'm going to do is to find some fibre to go in it. Now normally that would be, I think, some sort of bran husk type thing, but obviously as we're gluten-free, I have bought some gluten-free oats, so I'm going to whiz those in the electric whizzer down into breadcrumb size rather than rolled oat size, so that I can mix that in with the pork, and I'm going to get some salt and pepper and some herbs in there. Well, some really good lessons learned. That first batch, they looked the part and they taste fantastic. They taste exactly how I would want sausages to taste. Just a plain pork sausage, so that's really good. But the texture is much too dry. It is actually quite, I've cooked them and they're too dry. And the other thing I did was I overfilled the sausage skins. So when they cooked, they split out of the ends of the casings, which is not terribly attractive. Didn't change their taste. So the next little bit that I did, and I'm doing about 2.5 to 3 feet of in length of sausage at a time. So the next one I did, I have grated some Bramley apples into the mixture, in the hope that that would give a little bit more moisture to the mix, and then I've made those and I've cooked those off, and sure enough, that is a much softer, much wetter mixture. It could actually taste a little bit more appley, so that's one to remember for the future. Maybe if I've made some apple syrup or something like that, that would be a good thing to use in it. Anyway, they taste fine and they're a really good texture. And then the next ones I have made softer again, and this time I've put in some grated apple. So I've also put in a glassful of our homemade marrow, apple and ginger wine. So actually this mixture is really quite soft, so we'll see how that goes. What a lovely morning. It's now 12:30, so I've been doing this for 4 hours. I've had a whale of a time. My sausages all look like fat little thumbs. Bent, curly, wrong size, and I just don't care. They will taste the same. So I think what it has told me is that I've had so much fun, and I like the taste of these homemade ones enough that it might be worth us looking at investing in a more automated piece of kit, because this is really time consuming. Now, the one thing I do have plenty of, particularly in the winter, is time. So I do have the time to invest in this, but standing there cranking a handle for several hours at a time to either mince meat or to push the sausage meat into the casings is quite laborious. And yes, we'll see how we get on. Mr. J can try the sausages, see what he thinks of them, and then we might go and investigate some kit that would make making sausages just a little bit more straightforward and a bit faster, because we really like to make sausages from our chickens and from our ducks. I mean, can you imagine duck sausages? How lovely would that be? And so, wherever you are in the world and whatever you're up to today, I hope it's a good one, and I hope there's something to make you smile. And I also hope you can join me again tomorrow.